What you're about to see is real. All video and audio was captured at an actual paranormal investigation. Nothing has been manufactured or staged.
On this episode of Local Haunts, the team investigates another radio station in Jacksonville, the home of 99.9 Gator Country and 96.1 WEJZ. Employees' tale of strange sounds and equipment having a mind of its own, and things going bump in the night in the two-story office building where the radio stations call home. Is there more than just music drifting down the halls of Brenda Broadcasting? Find out as we explore Local Haunts.
Hello and welcome to Local Haunts. I'm your host, Steve Christian. Joining me as usual is my co-host, spiritual medium Pamela Theresa. Also joining us is Dax Slade. And from Gator Country, joining us is Steve Sutton, and Michelle with 1L, and Brian Jordan, and guest Michelle Stallions. And on cameras, Kevin Remington and Savannah Huffingham. And the investigation starts right now. We soon discovered that there was so much activity in the two-story building that we would come back and revisit the first floor of the radio station on another night. In all, there are 4 radio stations in this building, but the activity is throughout the building, with the heaviest and darkest energies in the downstairs areas, where the administration and sales offices are located. But we were upstairs in the hallway that connects all the radio station studios. And before we started, 2 significant things happened. First, as we were turning off the lights, we called this CVP.
Where's Brian?
I don't know. He's going to... We'll get some more lights on.
He's probably looking for half the light switches.
Is that one that didn't go off?
Oh, we can work around that if it stays on.
Did you catch it? I'll play it again as we caught it, and then I'll play it amplified and filtered.
Oh, we can work around that if it stays on. We can work around that if it stays on. We can work around that if it stays on. We can work around that if it stays on.
We're not really sure what this EVP means. It's what I call an eavesdropping EVP. It's a communication between spirits that we are not meant to hear, but our cameras recorded it without their knowing. Could it mean that one spirit was pointing out to another when to speak so we can hear them better, in the gaps between our sentences? Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a full-body apparition standing in the Gator Country studio. It was a full-body shadow standing freely in front of this microphone, and when I turned to look at it full on, it simply disappeared.
I looked down the hall to look at him, and in the corner of my eye, I swear I saw somebody standing right here.
We've got a fun space.
Am I wrong?
No? I said we have a fun space.
I swear to
I need
God,
to use
I'm
my
looking at him,
outside
and in the
voice.
corner of my eye, I see somebody standing right there.
We were in for an interesting night.
Coming up on Local Haunts, Steve introduces Gator Country DJs to an earthbound spirit.
You want to slide into her?
You're so excited. Whoa. Nuh-uh. That did not just happen.
It just happened. Okay, we're here at Gator Country. Got Steve Sutton, Michelle with 1L, Brian, Savannah, Dax, Miss Pamela, Kevin, and myself, Steve.
You got Steve, right?
I said Steve, right? Steve Sutton.
Yeah,
Steve
but-
Sutton.
We're maxed out on Steve's and Michelle's
We
tonight.
We got double.
We're double deep on
Double.
Steve and Michelle's tonight.
We're redundant.
We got a backup for each of us in case. So something happens, Steve, it's all you.
Oh, God.
Now, before we started rolling, really, I'm looking this way, and I see, in the corner of my eye, I see somebody standing in here at this microphone. Like, just a silhouette of a person standing here. It was one of those things where I did a double take and he's gone.
Interesting place. Wouldn't you want to come and hang out and check out, what's going on in here? Well, yeah. So, earthbound spirits, what people call ghosts, but are earthbound spirits. They're no different than us, really. It's just they're not in the physical skin anymore. They're just not transitioned. They're not ready to let go of the physical realm yet, which is not a bad thing. And so they're still experiencing, and sometimes it's like a dream state. Well, yes, if you understand your wacky out-of-reality dreams, you'll understand the earthbound state. But then there are some here in the earthbound realms that are quite aware, as was the case with my brother, because he just wanted to say, look, this happened to me, you know. And then I said, okay, now go to the light, dude. So, you know, I come across that a lot, but I come across people who had sudden deaths. I mean, they're people too, as I like to say all the time, and they can't hurt you. But if you're feeling it, as if you're sensitive like I am, and everybody's sensitive, but to a certain degree. So what you feel is their death experience or their emotional bodies, which are super powerful. You know, if somebody's scared or upset. Sometimes if you're alone, if you get that feeling, so you're focused on your work, and then all of a sudden you're feeling really scared, take a step back and say, who's wrong with me? And because this was sudden, so I'm picking up on somebody around me who's a little freaked out. I love intelligence. I'm always attracted to intelligence, and you've got the intelligence. And so I am very intelligent too, thank goodness, though airheady, but with that intelligence, there's a logical explanation for everything. And it can always be explained. There's always a story behind the story as to why. Oftentimes when things are moving, it's our kinetic energy. So we are in the physical realm. We hold the power of the physical realm. So if there's an earthbound spirit in our presence that's able to move objects and such like that, which I don't like stuff moving, so I'm constantly like, don't move stuff, you know, and I'm trying to work the energy so stuff doesn't move. I like to have control over my space. If I get out of whack really bad, because I have some pretty powerful kinetic energies, things can move. So they will borrow, I guess you could say, our energies in order to move physical items. But a lot of what you hear and people talk about with things like that happening, it really is kind of over exaggeration. So it's really not what because you're around earthbound spirits all the time. You're around spirit all the time. Loved ones, earthbound spirits, angels, masters, guides, believe me, there really are. I know, it sounds wackadoodle, but there are many different realms and around us, so it's kind of like they're stacked up. I knew that we would have to do a little tutorial one-on-one off the bat here, because I think this is going to be a pretty good investigation, so I kind of want to give you all a little
Did you want to hear?
education.
Brian and Michelle have some stories.
Well, not yet,
Not
because
yet?
because actually I would like for them to maybe organically come through, or maybe later. I want the space to stay as sterile as possible, because I know nothing of this space.
Right.
And then maybe some things that I bring up through people that are coming through will be validated. You'll be able to validate stuff maybe that you haven't even thought of. You'll be picking up empathic. I'm an empath as well, and so that's part of a huge part of my reads as a medium is that empathic bridge of communication. It's not that they can hurt us, and it's not that I'm actually having the heart attack, but it really feels like a heart attack. When I'll say, okay, your father passed of a heart attack, a sudden heart attack.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good at all.
Right. But it happens to everybody, and everybody's sensitive, but maybe not to this degree. One of the first hits that I got when I came in here downstairs, I'm just talking about this real quick, in the main area. Of course, I was picking up off of one of the cleaning guys, too, and I'm like, okay, they're going to go with them. So there was a few that left with them. But a feeling of, when we were talking and you were talking football and such, like dropping down about 5 inches, just a feeling like just dropping down. That's the best way I can describe it. And then I got a little dizzy surrounding that. So that was an empathic hit for somebody in the earthbound state, because this is pretty earthbound heavy in here. I mean, we've got quite a few. And so anything that I talk about here, if you've experienced or going through that space, just think about it, and you might not even remember it right now, but you might get home and go, oh yeah, that's sort of the sensation that I get occasionally when I walk through there. But sometimes people aren't really thinking, especially when they come through that door, they're thinking about work and such like that, and they go right through it. But that's intertwined within that energy of feeling like I'm falling, which is a hit to earthbound spirit, something. So we'll follow a breadcrumb trail, figure out what happened to this dude, but there was a drop down, just like a sudden whoop, you know, that feeling, and then getting really dizzy. And so that was like, and then it was interesting because around him, and along with that, I will get visions. Even though there was a red color on the wall, I mean, it was a different color red that he was showing me. So you'll get information like that as you start linking and communicating. What were you wanting to say, Michelle?
You're talking about right at the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in the door.
Yes.
Well, I mean, one of our coworkers, that was his office,
Mhm.
and we lost him.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Okay,
but
well,
he was right there, so
And he dropped down.
and that was
Okay, so that's what he was
right.
giving me here. Now we'll sort
Suddenly too,
through
very
suddenly
quickly
as well. Okay.
he died.
And very quickly.
Right.
Right as Michelle with 1L was validating Pamela with what she was picking up on an area around the employee entrance, an orb flies through the hall towards Michelle. Is this the spirit of the person they were talking about?
But also too, I'm picking up, and I'm going to further get the validation here on this, but on the right artery. Now, it's weird because I don't know why, but it's the right artery leading up to the right side of the brain, part of the
The
death
carotid.
process.
Oh, whoa, wait. I mean, well, when I say suddenly, he had a lot of back pain for several
Now hold on. Well,
months.
don't give me anything
Oh.
I haven't given
Okay.
you.
Okay, but that's going, okay. 'cause
Okay,
it's
just
going up
validate.
here, that's
Okay,
why.
yeah. So just validate as I give information, and then sure enough, I'll be getting more information, and then because I
Okay,
was fixing
yeah.
to get into the back, but that cannot be validated.
Oh,
now.
no, okay.
No, it's okay, sweetheart. You're new to this. That's why that's why Spirit's guiding me in the direction of give a 101, so that way as we walk through, because this is actually going to be probably one of our best episodes ever. Because when I walked in here, I'm like,
Coming up on Local Haunts, Steve introduces Gator Country DJs to an earthbound spirit.
You want to slide into her?
it feels like
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nuh-uh. That did not just happen.
It just happened.
Anyway, so, but there was something significant about the color red for this person as well. As is, and then also too, you notice how right off the bat when I saw the colors down there, they're talking to me about Christmas as being important, as about the month of December and such like that. So when Spirit communicates, they take you on a breadcrumb trail. It's because there's so much going on, and like my brain has to process so much information so fast. That's how they it's a breadcrumb trail with like 10 different people going at the same time and 30 people talking behind me. So, and I think that's why the empathic hit is so powerful, because it will stop me dead in my tracks. I'll be like, you got my attention.
Now that Pamela has educated everyone on how she and Spirit works, we decided to move down the hall to a bigger space so that we could all fit together and get out of the congested hallway.
So first impressions too, and your first hit on anything when you're connecting with the spirit realms, your first hit is really always right. It's the logical brain that'll come in and try to push everything else away. And you know this, in your life, your first instinct, your first gut hit, that's always, you've lived enough life to know that, oh crap, that was my first hit, I should have gone with that. Same thing as working with spirit and when they're trying to deliver information to you. Before we start going on the investigation, do y'all have any questions about like some of the things that I'm talking about? And it's like popping into your head, we'll cover that.
No.
No,
Not
everything-
really.
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely, it's really weird, but there's definitely, like, I don't want to say too much.
Right, that's okay.
Because there's even more. When
Right.
when you say drop down, I thought it was something else. But
Okay, well, you can try to validate that as like, yes, that's correct, and as we keep going here.
would it mean it had to be here?
No,
Or
not
would they
necessarily.
drop down?
But see, always it will come in layered.
Okay.
So whereas that did happen to him, but also too, as interesting as it is, somebody else who's in the space, it happened to them as well. But we have a December connection, a Christmas connection, a color red connection. I mean, so just in that space alone, and then that guy walking through tonight, boy, I'm like, whoa, boy, does he ever have a story? So that was like,
Oh, the
the
cleaning guy?
bigger guy. Mhm.
Wow.
And so there was another thing.
You mentioned when we first came up in here and gathered that we startled somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I picked up on that. My heart started racing and just felt, like a cat just got startled. And I was like trying to figure out when I linked in and was like, we actually startled somebody when we all came up here at the same time, I believe, and that's when you talked about it.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Also, too, we'll hopefully find and get the evidence through EVP. We have somebody in here, which I linked to them before we even got here, but I have a serious left head issue here, like, boom. Heart, ouch, that hurts. And then also, too, on the right side here, going through, it feels like something went through me right here, so.
Sure it's not me, because I had the cell phone going on my side.
Well, actually, beings that you're thinking about that, it is connected to an accident. So we'll follow the evidence as we get it. What are you? I'm not the only person here, so y'all turn on your Jedi senses here and let me start validating you and you validating me. And
Well, I already saw mine for the night. Kidding. Is there an area that has had more activity?
Oh, no, don't do that. I want to find it.
I mean, I had, yes, I have a couple stories, but I'm waiting.
Yeah, we'll get to this.
And they're duplicates, and that's
So
what's
I'm gonna-
freaky about it.
I'll follow that, but, so let's see.
Well, let me ask a question about, are dogs possibly more sensitive?
Oh,
Dogs
absolutely.
are very sensitive.
All right.
They can see spirit.
My dog was up here one time too, so
And cats.
didn't bring a cat, but I'm not going to go into it. I just was curious because I left immediately after it happened.
Okay.
So it's
But-
still voo.
So so if you can learn how to control your energies and your fear bodies and such, things won't move so much. You can keep them. You have help too. I pray when things get a little. I mean, my world is weird.
Oh, yeah, me
prayer is
too.
very powerful. People walk around with sage and crap like that. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
You're going to try to fight spirit with something physical. That's not going to work. The power of prayer is that's the only way to go.
I agree.
So anyway, you ask for help. You have loved ones in spirit. You have many, and they'll work the energies. They know how to do that, or they'll communicate with the ones around, or they'll at least put like a bubble around you to where. But you experience this because you're meant to experience. The door was open a little bit because you have these natural gifts and abilities anyway. So it's kind of like a wake-up call. So just saying. Unfortunately, it's not going to go away. It's not isolated to the space. It's really not. So, I mean, that's a whole nother reading for you, but we'll
So I'm assuming when it's quiet and dark and you're alone is when you're more sensitive, because when the lights are on, it's a busy day and people are around, you can't notice things as much.
as I said, like when everybody walks through that door, they're focused on work, but they're not feeling that. You would have the capability of feeling that. Well, now it's the power of suggestion. I've given it to you, so you're going to feel it because I said it. But, if you can go back into your memory bank, and somehow or another you'll be like, oh yeah, one time I walked in, I was a little bit dizzy, I thought there was something wrong, I felt like I was falling, dropping down a little bit, so.
This is one reason why we do this in the dark. It makes you a little more aware of what's going on around you.
Right.
And it eliminates, like we turn off machinery and stuff that makes noise, and we come here when it's after hours, there's nobody around.
And when I have been up here after hours, I always keep most of the lights off. Better.
Coming up on Local Haunts, Steve introduces Gator Country DJs to an earthbound spirit.
You want to slide into her?
It feels like
Whoa. Nuh-uh. That did not just happen.
It just happened.
Do they
It's the
like
same
us
way we're
here
talking.
though?
Yes.
Or not?
No, this is our space.
Okay,
Take
so-
control of yours. This is our realm. We're in the physical. What I say to them, hey, look, you're dead but not dead. Go to light at 7. This is my space. Get the heck out. Or I'll talk to you. Every medium's pretty much born of the earthbound realms, yes?
What was? Do you see? Oh wait, maybe it's just flashing in there. Is that flashing in there?
I just saw like a light.
I saw
Yeah.
it.
Did you see something? Maybe it
Yeah.
came from that
I saw
studio. Was it the studio
I
flashing
don't
in
know,
that door?
But I saw a light flash.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Who got punched in the nose up here hard?
Up here,
Or somewhere in the space, definitely. It's like,
someone got their tooth knocked out
feels-
downstairs.
Okay, it feels like being punched in the nose.
Yeah, because it was right here and it's very
Okay.
pain. Like,
So that was downstairs. So it doesn't, I could be 3 miles away and still be linked to the space. So I'm
Right.
starting to pick up on that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that didn't feel good.
Uh-uh.
So it doesn't matter whether they're in the physical or in the spirit, I'm still picking up on that. See, that's how vast the energies are. And that's where it's very complicated for somebody like me to even separate who is what. It's not necessarily isolated as, and right there as well.
Yeah.
So you have one standing next to you, a female. So I'm going to teach you how to feel.
Well,
There's one
spirit.
here, there's one here, and there's one here because this woman actually had my hairs on my arm.
Uh-huh.
What?
You can actually feel spirit. They have a warm. I'm not going to tell you what to feel. You're going to feel it
Alright.
yourself. But there's one here. 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 Ironically, it's a female next to the women's side.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she's got a nice little tingle. So what you're going to do is you're going to start your hand out here, away from her.
Away from
You don't want to pull back. If you're in her, you're going to kind of become.
It's kind of like having your hand in lukewarm water. After a while, you don't
Right.
feel the water anymore, so you want to be out here.
Oh, come out here.
And then you want to slide into her. And
You're so slightly
you'll-
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Come on,
Okay.
Steve, your turn.
Whoa, nuh-uh. That did not just happen.
It just happened. Yeah.
That did not just happen.
What'd
Go
you
on.
put in there? What'd you feel?
Just like electricity through my
Yeah.
fingers tingling.
Next time on Local Haunts.
I think the one you have in the engineering clothes that you were talking about, I think he was pretty much a loner in life. Maybe he was an engineer type. You know, they tend to kind of keep to themselves.
Yeah.
He hangs out there because he likes to be away from other people.
Does a deceased employee of the radio station still show up for work?
If you or somebody you know would like to book Pamela for a private or group read, contact her at mediumintheraw.com or call 904-238-4359 and reconnect to lost loved ones.